You don't know what a kit is, but you want to know what a kit is. Gunplapedia.
Eclipse Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Eclipse manga / motion comic. So to talk about the Eclipse, I am going to probably need to delve into some relatively recent spoilers for Eclipse in general, so, you know, pan off, that's not your thing. It's not major, it just deals with the development of the machine. So Eclipse takes place in the time skip between Seed and Seed Destiny. Orb is not in a great place. After half their nation exploding and their leader burning alive in some kind of honorable suicide that still doesn't make a lot of sense to me today, they're not doing great on the world stage. They're slowly rebuilding their defense forces and nation, but they need some kind of deterrent to stop someone like the Atlantic Federation almost did, just strolling in while the weekend and kicking their pail over and taking their stuff. Because Orb still has some really nice stuff. So, what they end up doing is developing the Eclipse. The Eclipse is a super special, totally secret prototype unit that has a million different crazy features installed on it. Everything from a transformable flight mode that we don't have in this game, to phase shift armor, to powerful beam cannons and weapons, to even Mirage Colloid to make itself invisible. And it's also battery powered. So all of these different systems just drain the shit out of it. It's an energy hog, it's incredibly inefficient. It's also supersonic, invisible, and near untrackable. And what the powers that be at Orb did was also find the perfect pilot for it. Tatsumi Hori, who is a half-coordinator, born one-parent natural, one-parent coordinator, who's a gangly, uncoordinated bitch who cannot pilot a machine to save his life. We're talking D-rank stats and everything, and that's public knowledge. But what the public doesn't know, and that his handlers do, is that he has a freakish aptitude to pilot the Eclipse, and only the Eclipse. He locks right in on this thing. He can handle this like nobody else can, even though he is barely able to drive a tricycle without tipping over. And that's where Orb's master plan comes together to keep himself safe. They make this crazy special prototype with all these weird features, and they make it wrong on purpose as a joke, as inefficient as they possibly could. Even then, if the intelligence of the world nations take a look at it, they still see, even though it's a janky piece of shit, it's a janky piece of shit that could fly into any major city of the world unopposed, nuke it to oblivion, and escape. So what Orb wants the other nations of the world to see is the Eclipse in its weird, half-finished, inefficient state, and it wants them to think, what happens if we give Orb a reason to try? What happens if we piss Orb off enough to actually do this properly? What happens if we try to wipe out Orb, and this thing gets away? That's a guaranteed lost capital city. And you're telling me they put this tiny little monkey child, who can't even tie his shoes in it, and it still performs as well as the intelligence reports show? It's a dumb plan, but it's an Orb plan that actually has been working. One little cool, neat feature about the Eclipse that we recently learned is that it has a very distinct mechanical lineage. Orb did not build this on their own. They couldn't. They did not have the tech or means to do so, especially after their nation was absolutely devastated by the events of Seed and many invasions they suffered. But after the Bloody Valentine, after Jakandu, they had the opportunity to take in and analyze one of Zaf's most advanced nuclear-powered mobile suits, the Freedom. So the Eclipse is actually secretly built off of the design specs of the Freedom, which is why its cockpit is so weird and different, why it's so distinct and differing from every other orb design, and why it can actually do a secret high mat full burst when equipped with the Raijin Striker unit. Built wrong on purpose as a joke, with its pilot trained wrong on purpose as a joke. But it still managed to be incredibly cool.